How are you doing today? Tell me honestly down below. I would love to know and I would love to pray for you. Today, I want to give a little bit of insight, a little bit of an idea that has been spurred on me by today's verse of the day on how to find your identity in Christ, how to find who you are as a man of God. This has been a journey for me. This has been something that I have been growing in over time. And today's Bible verse is just one itty-bitty tip of a humongous iceberg of what it means to find your identity in Christ and not find it in everything else. I, for a long time, found my identity in the work that I did. I found it in my career. I found it in my relationships. I found it in my spouse. I found it in my kids. All of those things got taken away from me in some form or another. I've had careers completely lost, businesses completely lost. I've had my marriage turned to shambles. My wife is now my ex-wife. I get my kids less of the time. And so I've gone through this process of having things ripped from me to then have just a foundational understanding of what it means to be God's son and a man of God, and then to build from there. And today's Bible verse, Ephesians 2, verse 10, says, "For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus, to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do." And let's just sit right in the beginning of this phrase, "For we are God's handiwork." You were created by God. I was created by God. My children were created by God. My ex-wife was created by God. My parents were created by God. Everybody was created by God. We are God's children. We are his handiwork, which means we are an amazing creation. Why? Because we were created in Christ Jesus to do good works. We weren't just created to go out and get a humongous career and focus on that. We weren't just created to sit on the couch. We weren't just created to do some sort of evil or some sort of bad. We weren't created to be lazy. We were created in Christ Jesus to do good works. But what does that actually mean? Because like you might be saying to yourself, I've said to myself a million times in the past, but I had this awesome and amazing job and I was doing good work. But why were you doing it? Were you doing it because you were self-serving and building your ego for yourself? Or were you doing it to build the kingdom? Were you doing it to honor God? And were you doing it for him? I wasn't. I was doing it because I was egotistical and I was arrogant and I was completely upside down on this. I placed myself at the top of that pedestal. I did not place God at the top of my pedestal, which means it all comes crumbling down. And the works that are laid out in front of us, the things that we have, is the end of this verse, which God prepared in advance for us to do. Whew. Everything that we have coming towards us, the things that we hear God telling us to do, they're things that God has prepared well in advance, probably before we were born, probably before our parents were born. The plan was already in motion. The plan has been there for eternity. It is our duty, it's our job, it's our responsibility to then accept what God puts in front of us, to accept the direction that Christ is taking us. I absolutely love this Bible verse. It says exactly what it means to be a man of God, because we're created in Christ Jesus to do good works. If this is confusing to you, if this is new to you, if this is something that you would maybe like some help with, comment below, find a link. It's in my bio. This is going on YouTube and TikTok. So I want to help you out. Maybe you can help me too. God bless. Have a great day.